God bless you. What troubles you?
Master Fayfire, I need to speak with you. I found out something about the counterfeit coin.
Did you really? Do tell.
Close to Rovna, I came across a wagon that was transporting the false coins. Unfortunately, I came too late. The carter and his men were dead.
Damn and blast. Do you know who did it?
Yes. A certain knight turned up there. It turned out he was also after the forgers.
Well, that is indeed unexpected. Tell me, what did he say?
He gave me these documents to show you. He seemed to think they prove he was telling the truth. They're the records of the interrogations in Passau, and some other things he said you'd understand better than him.
Let me see. We, the aldermen of the city of Passau, interrogation held this day, put to pen by the questor. The place of origin is a monastery in the land of Bohemia. Which certainly confirms my suspicion that something underhand is going on in Sasso. Coin assay report. Copper core coated with amalgam. Ah, but this is interesting. Here's an outlying description of how the forgeries are made. I'll have to study it more closely. We command Herr Ulrich to investigate and let no man stand in his way. This looks like the original safe conduct. It has the seal of the Passau alderman, but they certainly didn't pen this.
How do you know?
I recognize the hand. It's a Clement of Kaplitz, the high scribe of the Rosenbergs.
The Rosenbergs? Who's that?
A rich and powerful family in South Bohemia. Burgrave Henry III is a great rival of our King Wenceslas.
So what does all this mean?
Well, it certainly explains why your knight is so mysterious. Anyway, we should be careful, and we shall begin our investigation. The documents show they use silver amalgam for coating copper fakes. That's a lead we can follow.
What?
Silver amalgam. It's produced from quicksilver and silver.
Well, that doesn't sound like something just anyone can get hold of.
You're quite right. You will go to Sasso at once. Look around the forges in the city. Someone must be working copper for them. I, meanwhile, will take counsel with Sir Radzik and then follow after you.
Where shall we meet?
At the inn on Sasso Market Square. God be with you.
I'm glad you're here, Henry.
What's happening, sir?
Uncle Sir Hanush sent for me. No doubt he wants to give me another ear-bashing about the error of my ways. And he said to bring you too.
What has it got to do with me?
Plenty. You're in it with me ever since that hunt.
All right, we should get going then, shouldn't we, Sir Hans? The sooner we get it over and done with, the better.
I suppose so. Right away. I put some of my old clothes in a trunk for you. I don't want you making me look bad in front of Hanush. But I see it wasn't necessary. You look as smart as any courtier.
Thanks. I'll try my best.
So I see. But you can come and get those clothes later anyway. They're a little worn, but they're as fine as anything you'll get in the county.
Well, my ward and his, what shall we say, chaperone.
Uncle.
My lord?
I hope we haven't dragged you away from anything too important.
Not at all, Uncle. We
Like
were just...
boozing and whoring, for instance.
Uncle, I can...
Perhaps you were busy, causing mayhem in the middle of the night and beating up my subjects.
No, it wasn't... Henry and I were just...
Henry's as big a fool as you are. But he's not my ward, thank Christ. What the hell do the pair of you think you're doing? There are people in this fiefdom who work from dawn to dusk to put food on their tables, and on yours, may I remind you. And then they look at you, Hans, their lord and master, and see a drunken layabout. That fellow you beat up last night was a guard, a new guard on the town watch. And he couldn't report for duty this morning because of his injuries. I had the bailiff here complaining, and could I tell him what I really think about this whole sorry affair? Of course not. That would demean me. And you too. So I had to sit gaping like a stuffed owl and listen to his grievances. Maybe you think because you're the lord here you can get away with anything. But you're sadly mistaken, you blockhead. A lord remains a lord only as long as he commands the loyalty of his subjects. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you the folk here are not exactly enchanted at the prospect of having you in charge. That was the last straw, Capon. One more of your escapades and I'll send you to your mother in Polnar. For all I care, she can dress you up like a wench and marry you off to some Hungarian.
Uncle, that arson Archibald tried to murder me. What was I to do?
Oh, don't exaggerate. Well, I'm hardly surprised after you molested his girl and humiliated him.
I was only...
Oh,
I'm
don't whine, for heaven's
sorry.
sake. It's about time you started taking some responsibility. I have a job for you. Maybe that will keep you out of mischief. Sir Milota of Oleshna has turned up here. Do you know him?
Isn't he Sir Bernard's cousin?
He is. He came here with the remnants of his retinue to seek refuge. He's seriously wounded.
What happened to him, sir?
His fortress Oleshna was attacked by one Wulfrin of Camburg. Milota pursued him almost as far as Neuhof and engaged with him. Unfortunately, the skirmish didn't end well for Milota.
Wulflin of Camburg. That name is familiar.
Yeah, he's kin to the Oleshna lords, too. A cousin of Bernard's and Milota's. Their family affairs are a little complicated. None of my business, of course. I just wish they'd found somewhere else to thrash out their differences.
What do you want us to do, sir?
Go and see Bernard in the courtyard. He got a report that Wulflin pillaged some other farms around Neuhof, and he's putting a squad together to ride against him. Mind your step, though. It's a family affair. After all, maybe more to it than meets the eye. The important thing is to get that damn scavenger out of the domain. If possible, without bloodshed. I can't afford to lose any men over this business. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Very well, Uncle.
Get to work, then.
I don't like it. Stop your grumbling. You get paid, don't you? You can't take it with you, though, can you? But that he's from a noble family. They've got a fortress and all. They've got plenty, all right. Sir Bernard's father has charge of some estates near Coley.
Sir Hanish sent me, Captain. I'm to join your mission. And Sir Hans, too.
Then mount up, youngster, and we'll move out.
Listen, Bernard. About this robber. I heard some rumors.
About his being a relative of mine and Melota's?
Something like that.
We have the same great-grandfather, Urban, Baron of Oleshna. Wulfin belongs to a distant branch of my family. I heard the same, only, well, I'm sure you've heard what they say about the Camburg branch of my family.
That they're cursed.
Think what you like, but I heard it from my grandfather, and he never paid attention to old wives' tales.
I meant no offense, Captain. Well, tell me all about it then. After all, there's no smoke without fire, and I never heard about the Camburg clan from a member of the family.
Very well. At home, we always spoke in whispers about our Camburg relatives. When Wulfin's father, Wilhelm, came to visit, then later Wulfin turned up, even though he was supposed to be dead for years. The folk who said he was dead. That wouldn't stop the devil spawn.
Sweet Jesus. It sounds a lot more convincing coming from you than the stories my nurses used to tell me. How are we supposed to deal with a monster like that?
Pray, Sir Hans. Whoa! Vitus and Cyril.
Hey, Henry's
I
come
sent
to
them
see
to
you.
scout ahead.
Those bastards will pay for this.
They most certainly will. Let's go. We have to make camp. Hamlin, we'll take 2 men and come back here later. I won't have Vitus and Cyril left as crow meat.
Yes, Captain.
God be with you.
Tell me, Captain, how come this Wulfrin is attacking his own kin?
They say blood's thicker than water, but sometimes I wonder. Look at our king and Sigismund.
So what's the cause of your conflict with Wulfrin?
Nothing in particular, just that he's a ruffian, a treacherous bastard, and a bandit. No wonder the whole Camburg clan is cursed.
How do you mean cursed?
Like I said, Wulfin's grandfather married Countess Barbara of Hogwitz. She didn't want to bear his child and went to a witch to get rid of it. Only instead of getting rid of the unborn child, she ended up having 5.
What, all at the same time?
All in one night. But only one of them lived till morning. The youngest, Wilhelm. And his face was disfigured. They say the witch deceived the Countess, and it was Satan himself who impregnated her.
And you believe that story?
Depends how you look at it. Wilhelm wasn't a bad man while he was in his right mind, but he was terrifying to look at. I still get shivers down my spine when I think of him. As for Wolfen, word came that he died in Silesia. Then, one day, he appeared from nowhere. There are folk who say death has no power over him.
How are you related?
Milota, Wolfen and I have the same great-grandfather, Urban, Baron of Olesna.
What do we do now?
First, we have to find out where those Horsons are holed up. According to the reports, they raided a few farms around here. So someone should go to those places and find out what they can. You should do it, Henry. My men would probably just startle them.
All right, Captain. I'll do that. Where are the farms?
One is uphill from Neuhof, right by the woods. One here above the woods by the crossroads, directly north from our camp. God be with you.
Captain Bernard sent me. It's about that attack.
Well, they came, took everything they could, and rode off again. I don't know what else I can tell you.
We're trying to catch up with that gang, so I need to hear every detail you can tell me.
What do you want to know?
How many of them were there?
2 or 3. I'm not sure. My head's still in a spin.
What did they take?
Not much. We haven't a pot to piss in, which I told them in no uncertain terms as soon as they came here.
So you're telling me they came here, you told them there was nothing worth taking, and they just rode off again, without further ado?
More or less.
Which way did they go?
I don't know. I wasn't watching. My husband made me hide indoors, and I only saw them through the window.
So your husband was outside?
Yes, he tried to parley with them.
But just a while ago, you told me you were indoors the whole time.
Yes, I was. Mostly.
So were you inside or outside? Did you talk to them or not?
Well, like I say, it was confusing. I don't remember much.
Let's get one or two things straight. I'm here under orders from Captain Bernard, and that robber baron who came here crippled his cousin and killed 2 of his men.
What's that got to do with me?
Just so you know, the captain is very keen to see justice done, and it would not be wise to obstruct him.
My God, what have I done to deserve this?
So, what really happened here?
First, promise me you'll get rid of them.
That's exactly what I'm here for.
They came a few days ago, took a pig and a sack of apples. We put up no resistance. I noticed one of them had an injured leg, so I offered to treat it for him.
That was very Christian of you, considering they came to rob you.
All I cared about was that they wouldn't kill us.
Go on. What happened then?
They rode off, and I prayed we'd seen the last of them. Only the same evening, they came back again. One of them had been wounded, and they wanted me to take a look at him. They gave me some coin and took me to their camp. And in the morning I came home again.
So you know where they're camped? I'd like you to lead me there.
I won't go to their camp, no. But I know of a place where you'll have a good view of it.
That'll do me.
I'm not going any further. If they saw me, I'd be done for. The camp's not far away in this direction.
Thanks. And don't worry, I'll deal with those bastards.
I pray you do.
Fucking weather, fucking tents, fucking camp. I've had enough of this shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
Looks like I found it. I better get back and report to Captain Bernard. I found that encampment.
Ah, I'm glad to hear it. Is it far?
Not really.
How many men did you see?
About 15.
Shit. That won't be easy. Oh well, nothing to be done. Wolfen of Camberg must hang from the ramparts in Rattay.
Sounds good to me, Captain.
Don't get too cocky. Skirmishes in the woods can get tricky. Who knows what the bastard has up his sleeve. Anyway, I'll round up the men and you can lead us to this camp of theirs.
Of course. Ready when you are.
Wolflin of Camberg, for your crimes against Sir Meloda of Oleshna and Sir Hanush of Lipa, you have been declared a reprobate and an outlaw. Will you willingly lay down your arms and accept your just punishment at the hands of Sir Hanush? Or do you intend to offer resistance?
What do you say, man?
Let's just go ahead and do this willingly.
Fuck me. Here's your cousin.
And I to take it you intend to resist?
I didn't want to, but these men here talked me into it.
We're wasting our time, Captain. This brute here hasn't the honor of a common footpad. These murdering swine slayed Vitus and Cyril. I think it's time they paid for it. What do you say, men?
Yeah!
Blood for blood!
At those bastards! Charge! Three small brush into the man who brings me Wolfman's head!
I'll wipe my arse with you.
Victory is ours, Captain.
Praise the Lord. My men are no easy pickings. And you and Sir Hans helped us a lot.
What now?
We'll break camp and head back to the castle. You ought to go on ahead and report to Sir Hanush.
Yes, Captain.
God bless you. What troubles you?
I have news from the camp, Sir Hanush.
Speak.
Unfortunately, we couldn't avoid a skirmish.
Where's Hans? I hope he's not...
There's no need to worry, my lord. Lord Capon's alive and well. Lord Capon is busy celebrating.
So you succeeded?
Wolfen is dead, and his men routed. Captain Bernard and the others are hunting them down in the woods right now.
By God, that's excellent news. I must say, Henry, after all that's happened recently, I'm glad something finally turned out well.
So am I, sir.
And I think you deserve to be rewarded for your efforts.
Thank you, sir.
So what are we to do with you, Henry?
I've brought you something.
Oh, Hal. Is this for me? This must have cost you a fortune. But I like it very much, thank you. You really mustn't bring me any more gifts like that, or you'll spoil me.
Would you like to get up to some more mischief?
It was fun the last time.
Yes, it was. I'm a bit surprised you thought so too. Although a girl doesn't get a chance to tend the wounds of a gallant defender every day. It's quite late to be going out somewhere just now. Will you come tomorrow?
Hey, how'd you get so fucked up?
How do you like it at the mill, Fritz? It's got to be better than the mines.
It's worse here than at Scarlett's. There you could disappear without anyone noticing. But here...
But why would you want to disappear? Nimoy isn't here.
No, he's not. But the local foreman is an even bigger ass.
I'm not sure that's possible.
You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything and drown him in the river.
Drown him? What's he done to you?
It was the first or the second day here. We had a disagreement and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here, but that bastard's in need of a good trouncing.
And what do you want to do about it? Do you think you can come to an agreement?
No fucking chance. Matthew hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than the mines, but the play's worse.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper trouncing. I mean a real thrashing.
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe it'll knock some sense into that fat head of his. Or he'll be too frightened to mess with me.
That might help.
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh, we could...
What?
We could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
Jesus, what have you been up to?
I've heard you don't have it easy here.
So you spoke to Fritz then? I bet that wasn't quite how he put it.
No, not quite. Apart from Thomas's name, the rest was mostly swear words.
I can imagine. I've been hearing the same from him all week. The foreman here is a pain in the arse. He's trying either to wear us to the bone or force us to leave.
Always forcing you to work, is he?
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason for him to yell at us.
I can imagine.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And you definitely don't... You don't ever provoke him?
I've already told you once. He's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it. If he wants to yell at us, he'll yell at us.
Have you tried talking with him?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz going, and he starts yelling too, and...
And the miller won't stick up for you? I would have thought all the yelling would drive him mad.
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us. He's got us down for a pair of parasites.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
And what do you want to do about it? Just run away?
Actually, I'd like to stay here, at least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working in a mill, but not with him around. It's unbearable, and there's no one I can complain to. But you could.
Me? Do you think they'll listen to me?
They did once already, didn't they? They hired us because of you. You could have another word with them.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be worse.
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try and talk to him.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
So what do you think about the workers I brought you?
If I hadn't put in a good word for them, the miller would have thrown them out by now.
I heard them say something else.
So they're complaining, are they? I provide for them, and all they do is slack off.
Isn't it the miller who provides for them?
He can't manage the work anymore. If it weren't for me, there'd be nothing left standing around here.
But you need the help anyway. And they're pretty handy.
Maybe, but they're in no danger of overworking themselves. They act like they're too good for the mill, and I saw them eyeing up Jane.
Nothing strange about that. She's a pretty girl, and she's of an age to marry.
It's not marriage they've got on their minds. They'd have their way with her, then before her belly started to grow, they'd have run for the hills.
Look, we can reach an agreement. You need the mill fixed, they need the money. If they have peace to do their work, they'll be able to finish it faster.
But...
And then they'll take their groschen and leave. The mines will open again, and the faster they get their money, the quicker they'll be gone.
But do you really think I can trust them to do it? Will they do their work and leave? And leave Jane alone in the meantime?
Of course. They're not interested in the mill. They just need the coin to pay their debts. Once they've got enough, they'll have no reason to stay here.
I never thought we could sort it out this way.
I've known them for a long time, and you can rely on them when it comes to this. Everybody will be better off.
All right. If they keep their part of the bargain, I'll even give them a few extra groschen. But woe betide them if they don't. You can tell them that.
It took some doing, but I made a deal with him.
I'm glad to hear it. So we can stay here? He'll leave us be?
He'll leave you alone, but there are conditions. Once you finish your job, you'll vanish from here. But you'll get an extra groschen or two for your troubles.
And that's it? I thought... Never mind.
Oh, and you're to stop dallying with the miller's daughter. Keep on mucking about with her and you'll muck things up for yourselves.
The fucking bastard. He can go fuck himself. He'd better give us enough groschen to make it worth it. But I suppose I should thank you. You may have bought us some peace and quiet, and that's better than nothing. Here's something for your help.
Well, you're a sight for sore eyes.
Do you still feel like doing something together?
Shall we play blind man's buff?
That's really what you want to do?
I know it's a game for children,
But I always liked it, and I won't feel stupid playing it with you.
All right, why not?
good. Then follow me. Nobody will see us here in this barn.
Are you shy?
It's a game for little children.
Of course I'm embarrassed.
Well, adults play it too, you know.
But only when they're drunk.
I'll cover my eyes.
Well, they do say love is blind.
Cheeky boy. But this is a game you won't be winning.
I've got ears sharper than a bat.
And I'm as stealthy as a cat. You'll never find me.
We'll see.
But if you leave the barn, you lose. Come here. Come on, spin me around. What are you waiting for?
Blind I may be, deaf I'm not. Make a sound, and you'll get got. How does it go after that?
It doesn't matter. Go and hide.
What was that? Was that you?
There, you see. I can hear better than a bat.
Oh no! I've left clothes out to dry. We have to bring them in before they get soaked.
It's sopping wet.
Not afraid of thunderstorms, are you?
Not anymore.
Shouldn't we spread the linen out?
Henry, hush now.
came!
Is there anything I can help you with, Sir Hans?
Ah, Henry, the very man I wanted. There is something you can do for me. You see? I'm in love.
Ah, there's a new wench at the bathhouse, is there?
Watch it, Henry. This is the love of my life we're talking about, not some wench. The face of an angel, breasts like silk pillows to dream on, and good strong hips. A regular Helen of Troy.
Troy? Isn't that near Prague? I don't know anyone from there.
Never mind, blockhead. What I'm saying is, she's a fine filly, and you can help me win her.
Sounds like fun. I'm all ears.
You, Hal, shall be my messenger of love. You shall bear her a letter and a gift from a secret admirer.
But why me? It's not like you to be bashful, Sir Hans. You can just go and tell her,
Certainly not. Carolina is different to the others. She was educated in a convent and needs to be handled with kid gloves. Romanced. I must court her secretly. It's the latest fashion in France.
And who is this Carolina?
The fairest maid that ever walked the earth. Carolina. The butcher's daughter. You must have noticed a divine creature in the marketplace. Unless you're more interested in barnyard animals.
Carolina! I do know her. She's a pretty girl, all right, but, well, a little below your station.
Love knows no station but the heart. And you keep your peasant eyes off her. Your task is simple. All you have to do is get hold of a necklace fine enough to grace her lovely neck. I did have one that I inherited from my great-grandmother. Unfortunately, not anymore.
What happened to it?
I lost it playing dice at the inn. But you'll get it back for me. You're a smart lad. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. And I'll reward you handsomely.
Oh, all right then. Is there something else I should know about this necklace?
I lost it at dice in the Ledechko tavern when I was there to see... Well, that's not important.
So, some dice player from Ledechko won your grandmother's valuable necklace. Haven't you learned anything from losing to Zdena, the bathhouse wench?
My great-grandmother's. And as it happens, I have learned a trick or two. But that fellow has the luck of the devil. No doubt he'll still be sitting there, swindling other folk out of their hard-earned groschen.
Oh, what's the use? All right. I'll go to Ledechko, find this diabolical dice player and see what I can do. Though I'll probably lose my shirt to him.
Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And if you still don't know how to read, get your illiterate ass to the scribe in Ujits right away. He'll teach you.
Reading? What's the point of that?
No excuses. Courting a beautiful damsel befits only a man of letters.
I am honoured that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. But why not? I've taught all sorts. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschen for my trouble.
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can get started. The sooner I master it, the better.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of days so I can put you through your paces, if indeed time is of the essence.
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start. No. He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart. Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. You've uncovered the meaning hidden in the letters. Like I told you, books are valuable. And the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
I read the page.
So tell me, Distupule, what's written there?
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non lique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent. Well, there's nothing more I can teach you. Congratulations. You can go and be ordained right away.
Thank you, Domine. I'm feeling a lot wiser.
Good day to you.
Are you the one who played dice with Lord Capon?
Played and won, lad. Fine noble he may be, but he can no more throw dice than I can read Latin.
I can't disagree with you there. But look here, have you still got that piece of jewellery you won from him?
No, I don't. Some noble rode through here and we had a game or two. Only them dice kept falling his way. I was lucky to keep my boots. He's got the necklace now.
Can you tell me anything else about him?
Fine gent he was, well dressed, on horseback. Had quite a lot to say. Seems he saw a bit of the world. And he had some interesting looking dice.
You said they fell well for him?
Aye, and no wonder. Fine dice they was, made special, all shiny and whatnot.
Did you know where this fellow was heading?
He was waiting for someone here, but when they didn't show up by midday, he rode on. He mentioned something about camping by the bridge over the Sasau River. That one before the charcoal burners camp. You might still catch him there with a bit of luck.
There aren't many fords along the river on the way to Sasau.
Certainly, I'll fetch it right away.
Are you after something? I'm afraid my friend here won't tell you much.
Your friend? Oh, I'm very sorry. And, well, I don't want to be insensitive, but I was hoping to get something from him. My master's necklace, which he won at dice.
Your master? Who would that be?
Well, Sir Radzig Cobbler of Skalitz is my liege lord. I'm Henry, but just now I'm helping Sir Hans Capon with a private matter.
Those are weighty names in these parts. I'm Sir Anselm of Domkey, in the service of... well, that's not important. I'd like to give you... that is... I'd like to ask you for your help.
I don't think I can help you. I've got a pressing task of my own to deal with.
I understand. But we could help each other out. You see, I think I know where that necklace might be.
You do? Well, I'm all ears.
The thing is... this is all my fault. I got held up on the way to meet Alphonse. By the time I got here, I found him like this.
God have mercy on his soul.
Amen, lad. I was heartbroken and enraged by turns, tearing my hair and cursing. Alphonse was my good friend, and it pains me to know he was only here on account of me. I brought him into a certain business matter to negotiate with some people, and he agreed. And this is how it ended up. When I finally pulled myself together, I took a look around and found some tracks. I followed them to the camp of those very brigands that Alphonse was supposed to negotiate with.
Nah, you can't trust anyone these days. So how can I help?
You can pass yourself off as Alphonse. Get into the bandits' camp and find that fucking murderer. And when you do, you'll find what you're looking for.
What can you tell me about Alphonse? So they don't catch me out if they start asking questions.
Indeed. A few details should suffice. He was from Slani, but lived in Prague the last few years. He advised people, very well too. He helped them to deal with problems, of all kinds.
Yeah, he sounds like a man of the world, but I've never even been to Prague. I'm not sure I can fool them.
You can always change the subject. He was an ardent dice player, God forgive him, and he spent some time in Moravia on the service of Prokop of Luxembourg. But that was ages ago.
And how am I supposed to recognise the killer?
Ask around. I don't reckon anyone will admit to stabbing him in his sleep, but you might pick up some clue. You could have a look around for that necklace. Now that I think of it, they stole other valuables from him too.
Silver is silver, though. I won't recognise anything. Didn't he have something unique? A signet ring or chain or...
No, not that I can... Oh yes, he did. Dice. He had a set of dice made specially in Prague. It was his pride and joy. They were red and gold, bright and shiny. Not the kind of thing you'd overlook.
Is there anything else I should watch out for while passing myself off as Alphonse?
The main thing is to look and sound like a noble, not a peasant. A commoner. So dress the part. No rags or rusty iron.
What do you know about the brigands in that camp?
Actually, they're not just ordinary bandits. It's a robber baron and his band. Sir Erhard Baron Bielowitz. Some of his vassals and maybe some commoners. They came here in the hope they'd have a better chance of keeping their heads.
Why don't you ask some of the local lords for help? I'm sure the Sasau custodian would lend you a few men.
There's nothing I'd like to see more than the lot of them strung up. Only I have a task that conflicts with that. And as for the custodian, I'm pretty sure Sir Sebastian is in league with Erhard.
What was the purpose of Sir Alphonse's negotiations? I'll need to know that.
Look, Henry, you'd best avoid that subject if at all possible. Just find the murderer for me, get your necklace, and I'll take care of the rest.
It'll be a bit hard to avoid that, since it was supposed to be the entire purpose of his visit.
True. Well, Alphonse was supposed to talk Erhard into moving his robbing raids towards Benishov, especially holding up merchants' wagons heading for Prague. In return, he was to offer a reward of up to 12,000 groschen and safe haven in Pilgrims.
I see. So you work for someone in Pilgrims?
No, neither Pilgrims nor Benishov. Nor Vlachim, for that matter. It's a bit complicated. Damn politics.
My word. The whole thing sounds like quite a twisted affair.
So are you going to help me?
I'll help you. I'll have to go there to look for the necklace anyway, and this seems as good a way as any.
Thanks 1,000-fold. And for the love of God, don't get caught. I'd never forgive myself if another man lost his life on my account. If it starts to look risky, take to your heels.
I'll bear that in mind. Looks like he died without a struggle, maybe killed in his sleep. They took everything he had, money, jewellery, even his boots. Someone was searching for something here. Were they out to rob him of everything he had, or something in particular? Could it be someone was trying to get rid of something here?
Yeah.
I be right in assuming this is the encampment of Sir Erhard, Baron Bielewitz?
You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? All the way from Prague, eh?
Prague, yes, quite. But I travelled via Guren, thinking it the less hazardous route, comparatively.
Oh, aye. The roads ain't safe at all these days. There's all sorts of rabble waiting to rob unwary folk and even kill them.
Indeed, indeed, I concur. One must be wary, well, cautious even, when travelling.
Right then. But you'll have to wait a while. Sir Erhard is busy at the moment.
No matter, I shall just,
But it's easy to pass the time here. There's always a dice game going on with nice things being wagered. I had my eye on a fine pair of gauntlets and some old piece of jewellery.
Jewellery, you say?
That's right. Just go and see old Blaha, the fella sitting at that table there. He can read, write, and do sums as good as any scribe, and other things too. He keeps things in shape here a bit.
Thank you. I may well do that. I was told I could have a game or two here until Sir Erhard has time to see me.
Aye, he's got his hands full at the moment. You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? I'm Blaha, Sir Erhard's servant. I take care of things here a bit.
Including dice? It has come to my attention that there are interesting things being wagered.
True enough, we've got a fine pair of plate gauntlets, 2 necklaces, one of them's a lovely piece, a good sharp sword, and some other things, I don't remember what. The custom here is if you want to play, you've got to wager something to join.
Far be it from me to disrespect established custom.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thanks.
You want to play right away, or...?
Why wait? I'll play now.
No beating around the bush. That's the way. You'll play against Noggin now. He's not the brightest, and he ain't a good loser.
You get any extra boots?
No one to rob here. Fucking boy.
What you used to do before all this?
You wouldn't believe me.
Well, I was a sentry at Rattata, but they picked chickens, so I joined up. What? You hear that, lad? He made candles for the monks and showed them up their asses. Rivers of blood and a bloody flood.
Killing, fighting, never losing, robbing, fucking whores and boozing. Take the women, burn the village, drink, annihilate and pillage.
I was a sentry at Rattata.
I'm so tired. I've got a pick.
Fucking camp. I've had enough.
You're a fucking cheat. Sir, I challenge you to a duel.
I won't take any accusations from you. I accept.
You fucking dog.
I want to play dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. You'll play Berta. He's a man, but they call him that for some reason. Damned if I know why.
Filth and stink everywhere. Should have stayed home.
Well, I was a sentry at Rakan. But they take this and think if I joined up with this one, I should have stayed home. Fucking weather.
I just want to eat and sleep.
So tired.
And fuck.
With this lot instead. You're having me on. Nah, it's true.
The blessing of our Lord Jesus Christ upon you, Baron Belevets. I'm honored to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is mine, sir. We haven't had any interesting visitors here for a long time, and I'm keen to hear what news you bring. And then there's the matter of our trade.
Indeed, we certainly have much to discuss, sir.
Good. And how was your journey, Sir Alphonse?
Long and somewhat fatiguing, truth be told.
Ah, would you rather put off our talks until later?
No. I shall be glad to deal with our business right away, but I'd rather tell you the latest news later.
Very well. If you wish to skip the pleasantries, let's get down to business. From what I've heard, you have some proposal for me that would involve departing from Vlashim?
Yes, essentially. We need to divert attention elsewhere. To Benishov.
I know Benishov well. That could be done. And who are we to devote our attention to?
Merchant wagons.
Of course. How better to put the fear of God in the townsmen than to relieve them of their silver? Do you want us to conduct our business on any particular road?
The road to Prague.
That makes sense. Aye. And what's in it for us? If terrorizing folk is what you want, there might not be much profit in it.
I should think 12,000 groschen is a reasonable reward.
Very reasonable. We can certainly agree on that. And that's everything?
That's all. I trust it's a satisfactory offer.
That's all acceptable. I agree then. Now we've settled our business, you can go and rest. We'll talk later when you feel up to it.
Thank you, Sir Erhard.
Bacon stripe. How sweet it is. A robber's life.
I want to play dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. You'll play against Maladata. He's a bit... well... you'll see for yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here? Of blood and a bloody flood.
Blood and a bloody flood. Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
I'm so tired.
I'm so hungry I could eat my boots.
I just...
else is there to do here? No one to rob here. Fucking boring.
Camp life sure ain't easy. Fuck. You're so hungry I could eat my boots.
Cheer me up. Fucking weather.
Fuck.
Tents, fucking
I'm almost sober again.
I want to play dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. Then there's Pekuna. He's a local fellow who brings stuff for us. He put up a nice necklace as his wager.
Tired.
Cheer me up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
How did I do? Have I won?
Well now, Sir Alphonse, you took 'em all by storm. Here's the key to the prize.
Thank you kindly. Can I ask you something?
Ask away. Anything to pass the time.
You're Mladotta, right?
I am. Why'd you ask?
Just curious. This is quite an interesting retreat you men have here.
You could put it that way. I ain't been here long, though. I helped them out of a tight spot and they took me with them.
Is that right? How did that happen?
Well, I was lying in wait for this wagoner, see, because he'd been mouthing off about me, so I figured I'd take all he had for compensation. Anyway, I'm hiding there in the bushes, and I hear this wagon coming, so I jumped out to ambush him. Only it wasn't that wagoner, but some merchant. As soon as he saw me with my weapon drawn, he started screaming bloody murder, and next thing, his armed escort comes charging up, and I was the one ambushed. The injustice of it.
Vexing indeed.
Aye. Anyway, they caught me and took me with them. They figured I was Sir Erhardt's spy, and they wanted me to lead them to him. Of course, I told them I didn't know what the fuck they were on about. So, while they were threatening to break me on the wheel, string me up and what have you, along comes the Baron with his merry band, and they lay into the soldiers and send them running for the hills. And ever since then, I've been riding with them.
That is quite an entertaining anecdote.
Ain't it just? If it hadn't been for me, the fellows would have run straight into a trap and it'd all be up with them. So, it's on account of me they're still alive.
And how are things here? Do you get away much?
We ain't allowed to leave. So I've been here the whole time. I don't mind, though. There's always something to pass the time. And we've got that wench.
I have good news for you, Sir Anselm. I know who killed your friend. Who was it? It was Mladotta, one of the brigands.
How did you find out?
From the dice.
All right. I'll take care of it from here. And I owe you for helping me. Here, Henry, take this. I'm sorry I don't have more on me. But if you're ever in Prague, come and look me up and I'll see you're well taken care of.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Anselm. Godspeed.
God be with you, Henry.
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot! Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, May all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
Do you know if there's anyone around here who could use my help?
Could be. It might not be to your liking, though, on account of it's the executioner who's looking for someone. At least that's what I've heard. Of course, folk here don't want to have anything to do with him. Only the more they avoid him, the more they gossip about him. Oh, and another thing. You're the blacksmith's son from Scarlet's, ain't you? The bailiff here could probably use you. He's got some jobs for the Scarlet's refugees, but he's not sure who's good for what. He was moaning about it here yesterday.
Can't stay here.
And where else would you go?
Anywhere. I can't be with a
Go ahead and say it.
with an executioner. A bloody executioner. What have I ever done to anyone?
Do you know there's a girl crying on your doorstep?
I executed her husband.
What? You killed him?
No, not like that. It was done lawfully. She knew he had it coming.
So then, why...
Folk would like to drive her out of town. She has no one here. For a while I thought I could take care of her, but it wasn't to be.
Why?
Do you really have to ask? I can't even go to the tavern for company, and no one would sup their ale with me. And when I die, they'll probably push me into a hole with a stick so as not to touch my corpse.
Is it really that bad?
I'm not complaining, mind. It's a well-paid job, if you don't mind being a pariah. They might look sideways at you, too, just for talking to me.
And that's what she's afraid of?
Exactly.
Doesn't that crying girl have any kin?
None she knows of, poor lass. You could help her, though, if you wanted.
Me? How?
Elishka has no family, but her husband might still have some kin. Nobody will talk to me, but you could find out more.
What would she have to put up with if she stayed with you?
A lot, I can't deny. Most of the townfolk wouldn't give her the time of day, at least not in public. If we had children, it would be even worse for them.
That doesn't sound like a very happy life.
It's not all bad. It's a well-paid job and even respected in a way. And when someone needs a bone set, all of a sudden they forget your reputation.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
My thanks, if only for the thought.
Herman sent me.
What a way to end up.
Don't despair. It could be a lot worse.
Only death could be worse, and I'm not far from it.
Can I ask about your family?
What do you want to know?
Didn't your husband have any kin?
Maybe. He mentioned some, but we never went to see them.
Is that all you know?
Yes. But if they're anything like my old man, the bailiff and his catchpolls will know about them.
That's all I need.
God save you.
Do you know Elishka? The wife of the man who was hanged recently?
The one that's with the executioner now?
That's her.
Life can be cruel sometimes.
Right. And do you know if she has kinfolk somewhere around?
How should I know? Now, if you don't mind, I'm very busy.
Bailiff, surely you know me well enough to know I solve more problems than I cause.
You're right, I've heard some reports. Talk to the scribe.
Thank you.
God save you.
I'd like to ask if...
This knee of mine hurts like hell.
I'd like to ask...
Young man, there's always someone who wants to ask something. What do you need?
I wondered if you could take a look in your books for me, and,
Books? God above, am I to shuffle around here with my knees the way they are?
I could bring you something for your knees.
From some old hag? That's nothing but a load of... Oh! Ow! Oh! Well, I suppose it might be worth a try.
Heavens, lad. You're looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Last time I saw you, I thought you were ready for the priest.
I'm feeling as good as new.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
About that debt.
Here you are.
Thank you. I'm glad to see you're a man of honour. Is there anything else I can do for you? Aye, for that amount I can be persuaded.
I've got something here for that knee of yours.
Really?
This ointment should help.
Thank you. Let's just hope it works.
Is it possible to find out from the records where someone lives?
You think we keep records of every serf? For Christ's sake, they breed like rabbits.
But I thought that in the rat house, though, in the books...
Boy, the books are for recording pacts, undertakings, punishments, property rights, and so forth. In other words, important things. We don't keep records of serfs.
Elishka won't be happy about that.
Elishka? You don't mean the one who married into the Mishek family?
Yes. Yes, you know her.
Why wouldn't I? I used to play dice with old Mishek years ago. He had a son, a nice, polite lad. How is he?
Oh, you know, he's quite tied up these days.
Well, if you see him, tell him to swing by.
And where are the Misheks living now?
A stone's throw from Rate by the small fish pond.
Thanks.
What do you want? What is it now?
I've got information about your daughter-in-law.
Elishka's fine, only she needs...
Never heard of her. Get lost.
She's your nearest kin. Elishka's part of your family, and she really needs you...
I won't help anyone.
Listen, you old hag. If you interrupt me one more time...
Fuck off!
I could make it worth your while.
Really? And what is it you want?
Your son's widow needs help. She has nowhere to go.
What do I care about some useless girl?
She could help you with the farm. She definitely knows how to take care of things.
A bit of help would come in handy. Send her here, then. But don't let her think she'll be taking it easy. She'll have her work cut out.
That sounds quite...
And if I hear a peep out of her, I'll take a stick to her back.
Fine salvation this is.
Here, have some.
Oh, thank you.
You'd never go hungry.
I know, but...
Yes, but...
Elishka's looking better.
She is, but she's not happy. God sent the poor girl great trials.
Indeed.
Did you know her whole family was wiped out by the plague? She was barely 12.
Losing your family isn't easy.
Ah, sorry, I wasn't thinking. So, did you find out anything about that kin of hers?
I have. I tracked them down. They say they'd take her in, but I'm not sure she'd do well there.
Leave that to her. I just hope she'll be better off than now.
God preserve you, good night. Can I do something for you?
You're not crying now?
I'm not. I've wept enough for a lifetime.
It's a bit of a change since my last visit.
I haven't had much luck in my life, but I've always worked things out in the end. Tears are no help to anything.
That's true.
So, did you find out something about them?
I did. I found your husband's father and mother, and they're willing to take you in.
But...
They're not very nice people, Elishka. They probably work you to the bone. But you would get fed.
Life is never easy. But at least I'd have a family.
You're right. I'll have another talk with Herman. I've heard the way you talk about her, and, would you like Elishka to stay?
You know, Hal, she was always the sweetest girl. When she came with her family to Ratai, still single, she was a sight to behold. And it might surprise you, but she even had a word or two for me now and again. It grieved me when she married that wastrel. It was a foolish idea, but I always thought maybe she and I could... Well, fate likes a good laugh. Now I've strung up her old man. I have her under my roof. After all the years I was thinking of her. I don't want her to leave, but I don't want her to be unhappy here either.
Have you made your mind up?
I can't decide. I don't know Mishik's at all, but at least I'd have a family.
Herman could give you a family too.
He's a decent, upright fellow. I've met none better, and that's the honest truth. But he's an executioner.
And what's the problem? That the other women won't chat with you down at the creek? Did that sort of gossip ever interest you anyway? He's a fine man, isn't he? He's willing to take care of you, and he has the means to do it, and he wants you. He's so sick with love for you, he can't even sleep.
But did he really say that?
He told me he's been in love with you for years. He said he always thought you were the sweetest girl in Rattay.
It's true. We used to meet now and again and exchange a few words. Well, he always treated me nicely. By all that's holy, you're right. I'll stay here. Herman?
Yes?
Can I stay here with you?
You mean for good?
If you don't want me to.
You can! By God, you can! You've made me the happiest man in the world.
God bless you. What troubles you?
I delivered the things, as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning, as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't believe in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sassau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs.
Greetings, good knight. How may I serve you?
You look like you've got a lot on your plate, Master Bailiff. Is work keeping you busy?
Busy? I've had so many visitors, I wouldn't wonder if the door fell off its hinges.
What's going on?
I've been given the task of putting some of the Scarlet's refugees to work. It's not that there's a shortage of jobs, the problem's sharing them out fairly.
I understand. Everyone has mouths to feed.
The worst part is they won't tell you who really needs a job the most, but you might be able to help, Henry.
How?
They're like to be more honest with you, so you can find out who's in the most need. And you can decide for yourself who'll do what. Will you help?
If you need help, I'll do whatever I can.
You're a godsend. I'm sure it won't take too long. You know how the refugees are getting on, don't you? But ask around if you need to find out more.
What kind of work are we talking about?
Well, old Hagen is looking for a cook, and we need 5 carriers.
A cook and 5 water carriers? That sounds simple enough. Is there a problem?
A little. We need 3 water carriers, but the other 2 will have to carry Begging your pardon, shit. Or as the Pope would say, excrement.
How come that's such a cause for concern?
For one thing, they're afraid of me, and I can't get a straight answer out of any of them. So how the hell am I supposed to make the right choice?
Oh, they're desperate. You can't blame them.
I don't, but I might end up picking some good-for-nothing who'll just booze his wages away.
What do I need to know about the water carriers?
We need 3. Right now, some of the burgers' hands are doing the job.
And they need to go all the way down to the river for water.
Of course, where else would they get it? Gallows Hill? It's not an easy job, but someone has to do it.
What can you tell me about the other carriers?
It's dirty, but it's a job that needs to be done. There'll be more than enough work for them. Some places are overflowing.
Sounds disgusting. Why would anyone want the job?
If all else fails, I'll pay 2 groschen for every 1 I pay the water carriers. That might convince someone.
Is there anyone who can tell me more about it?
Yes, the merchant Conrad Hagen is the one looking for a cook, so you can talk to him. And young Alex will know which of the Skalitz folk are best suited to the job.
That's all I need to know.
Good luck, then.
I hope I can be of help to you, Knight.
The bailiff sent me. He said you're looking for a cook.
That's right. I'm searching for a good cook, but I've said all that to our esteemed bailiff.
Well, I offered the bailiff my help because I know the Skalitz folk.
Ah, I see. Well, ask away then.
Do you have any particular requirements for the new cook?
Well, it would be an advantage if she knew how to cook.
Well, yes, but the bailiff said you had other conditions.
Well, I want a woman who's capable of looking after the house when I'm away on business.
Young? Nimble?
What for? I want her to impress people with her food, not her face.
I understand. Sorry. I also heard there are vacant carrier jobs.
Yes, yes. I'm surprised it hasn't occurred to anyone sooner. It will certainly benefit the city if the burghers don't have to send their own servants.
It will benefit my people as well.
Of course, of course. It goes without saying.
I also heard that you need workers to carry, to empty latrines.
It's not dignified to talk of such manners. That's not a concern for decent people.
But I need to know...
Enough. I won't have such talk in my home.
God be with you.
I'd like to ask about our former neighbours. There are jobs here for some of them, and I have to pick people.
The bailiff told me about it. He still wants our people to do the knacker's job?
But what of it? It will benefit everyone.
Not everyone. There's not enough work for everyone, and no one wants to do the knacker's job.
But having a job could save someone's life.
Water carrying, maybe. But if they have to do a job that's not fit for a decent person, only for the knacker or the executioner's servant?
So you think there's no point in it? That it's better to beg than have a job, even if it is hauling shit?
You forget that that's a job for the knacker's hired hand, not for displaced people. When we return to Skalitz, they'll never be able to rid themselves of the stink.
So, do you know who's most in need of some coin and is fit for hard work?
Everyone's in need of coin, but not everyone is fit for such work.
Well, who should I talk to then? Where will I find them?
I'll talk to them myself and send them to meet you in front of the Rathaus, so they'll all be in one place. It'll take me a while, though.
I'm also looking for a cook. Do you know of a good cook who's looking for work?
Well, there's Agnes. I've heard she can cook better than anyone. Only...
Well, what's the problem? Did something happen to her?
No, it's just that I haven't seen her around here for ages. I believe she's cooking for the local parish priest and living at the presbytery. So I don't think she's in need of work.
Thanks. I'll go.
But deliver us from perils, only pure and blessed one. Good afternoon.
Are you Agnes, who works at St. James?
I am. Or I did, before those devils rolled in and burnt down Skalitz. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for a good cook and housekeeper, and everyone I asked sent me to you.
I've been blessed by God.
So it seems. Anyway, the local merchant wants someone who can cook food fit for nobility and take care of his household.
Well, Father Francis was very fond of good food, but I can't just go serve someone else.
Merchant Hagen isn't just anybody.
I've heard of him, that he's a good Catholic.
Really? Well, yeah, sure he is.
Truly. People still talk about the lovely service he arranged for his wife's funeral.
So, you wouldn't mind being his housekeeper?
Well, I don't know. What will Father Francis do?
Father Francis no longer needs a housekeeper.
What? Don't tell me he's found a new one.
Well, I probably shouldn't tell you. But I'm afraid that's just how it is.
But that's not like him. Somebody must have been putting ideas into his head. I'll have to go back and talk to him.
But he's not at St. James's.
No? Then where is he? And why does he have a new housekeeper there?
They're sending him away, somewhere to South Bohemia. I was told they've arranged all the help he needs there already.
But what will I do?
You didn't want to drag you away somewhere else, since you've been here your whole life.
That's true, but what will he do without me? Who will take care of him?
I'm sure he'll be well taken care of. What about you? You could have a good life as Hagen's housekeeper.
Very well. I'll go and work for him then.
May the Lord watch over you.
God be with you.
You're interested in carrying water?
I am. It's about time something good came to decent folk.
I agree. Now, I'll ask you a few questions.
What? But I want the work and I deserve it. Keep your questions for good-for-nothings.
What makes you so deserving? How did you make a living before this?
I was the owner of a mine. Well, I had a lease on it. But in our line of work, it amounts to the same thing.
The chief, eh? But have you ever hauled a bucket of ore up a hill?
There's no hill in a mine. Just a shaft with a winch.
It's hard work carrying water.
So is taking care of a mine.
It's not quite the same thing, is it? You need brawn to carry water, not brains.
I wasn't born a mine owner, you know. I've done my share of hauling.
How are you holding up in Rattay?
Not too well. I've tried offering my administrative abilities at the rat house, but the bailiff treats me like a peasant.
He's not an easy man to deal with, true enough. But if you show him what you're capable of...
Well, if he gives you a chance to show him...
And the bailiff complained he couldn't get a word out of you.
I refused to talk to him. Last time I did, he was vulgar, shouted and threatened to whip me. And then he comes and interrogates me.
Well, I can see how that would put you off him. What would you give me if I put in a good word for you?
So that's how it is it? An honest person can't get a job, only one who'll stoop to bribing?
Come now. I just want to help, but I'll have my job cut out persuading the bailiff to take you.
All right. I don't have anything, but I know the armourer in Sasau, and he'll give you a good price if I have a word with him.
Cheap armour might come in handy, all right? Done.
Done. As soon as I get the job, come and see me, and I'll tell you all about it.
That's enough for now.
God be with you.
You're one of the people interested in work?
Well, Alex told me that I'm supposed to ask about a job carrying water.
That's right. But first, I'll ask you a few questions. You are...
Peter. But everyone calls me Rock. There was more than enough Peters in the mines, and not just in the mines. So...
At the mines? So you're a miner?
That's right. I worked in the East Shaft, and I hope I'll be working there again. Now that I think of it, have you heard anything from their lordships? When will they open the mines again?
I have no idea what their lordships plan to do about it.
All right. I just thought you might have heard something.
How are you holding up?
You mean this here? Well, I've got feeling back in my arm again.
What happened to it, anyway?
That time in Skalitz. I was knocked down by a horse. But it's better now.
All right. We'll keep it between the two of us. You don't have to worry.
Thanks. I owe you.
That's enough for now.
My humble greetings. How may I help you?
What do you want?
I want to work. And I heard you're the one in charge of giving out jobs, not the bailiff.
It's true. Do you know how to cook? If you know how to make food for nobles, then I might have something for you.
Where would I learn to cook food for nobles? I want to carry water.
But Alex has already picked people who want to carry water.
He didn't ask me, though, so I came here myself.
Be that as it may, I already have the people I need to carry water. And anyway, it's no job for a woman.
I'm strong enough to knock you on your arse, you pup.
Good day to you.
Are you here on account of the water carrying?
Yes, I am. My name is Vincent.
Nice to meet you. I'll ask a few questions and we'll see. All right?
Fine. Ask away.
What did you do before this?
I work for my father.
Doing what? Who's your father, anyway?
He was Moimir. We had a farm near Scarlet's.
Really? His farmhands came to the tavern a lot, but I never saw you there.
I don't go to taverns.
How are you holding up?
Well, I'm alive. But I miss my father. And the farm, too. But Ma says there's no use dwelling on it. Life must go on.
So you're probably here about carrying water, right?
Aye. I want to carry water.
That's all? You've nothing more to add?
That's what's needed, ain't it?
That's enough for now. You're here about the water carrying?
I am. Where do I get some pails?
Hold your horses. We haven't decided yet who gets the job. I have to ask you a few things first.
What for? I can handle the job. But ask away.
I heard you lot don't want to talk to the bailiff.
I don't know much about that. The others didn't talk to him, so I kept my mouth shut as well. That's the way we do it at the mines. He didn't even really ask me anything anyway. Just mumbled something under his breath.
Are you here because you want to carry water?
Well, I'd rather be back at the winch. Turning it so fast I'd make everyone's head spin. But now I want to carry water at least, since there's some money in it.
Well, there's also the option of carrying, shit.
Not a chance. I'm not carrying any shit around. And if anyone tries to make me, I'll break his legs.
Carrying shit is hard work. A job for a real man.
If you think it's so great, why don't you do it yourself?
I've got a job. But beggars can't be choosers.
So now I'm a beggar. Maybe I really should knock you on your ass.
Sorry, no offence. I know everything I need.
So, can I go carry water then?
Not yet. I'll tell the bailiff and he'll choose.
Well, I hope he chooses me. Otherwise, I might be very angry.
I'll bear that in mind.
Good health to you.
You're here about the water carrying?
Aye. I can hold water all day long.
So, do you want the job? There's plenty of other folk that will take it if you don't.
I do. I want it. What do I have to do?
So tell me, what was your trade before?
I was a miner, then a farm laborer, then I was a servant, then I fled from Scarlet's and ended up here.
Quite the factotum, aren't you? Was none of those jobs good enough for you?
I liked them all, but they were always sending me to do something else. Pickman, they'd say. Leave this and go and do that.
Pickman? That's your name?
Actually, my real name's Vassal, but they call me Pickman.
Is that German?
No. It's from when I was in the mines, digging with a pick.
So you're keen on carrying water?
I've been keen on it since I got up this morning.
Do you want something?
I'd like to ask a favor of you, Hal.
Of course. What is it?
I heard you're picking people to carry water. No one needs the job more than Antonia.
Adam never mentioned any Antonia.
I'm not surprised. But Antonia really needs that job.
Can she cook?
What's that got to do with carrying water?
Nothing, but there's a cook's job going too. Much easier than hauling water.
I don't know how good a cook she is, though. You'd better ask her yourself.
And what's wrong with her husband?
He was cut down in the raid, and he's not getting any better. And Antonia has no money for treatment.
Do you think she'll be able to handle carrying those buckets? It's quite far, and up that hill.
She's no princess. She's tough enough.
All right. I'll bear it in mind.
Bear it in mind? What does that mean?
It means I'll think about it. The bailiff has the last word.
Well, if he's got something against giving the job to a woman, then try and get Vincent in at least. He might not have anyone on their deathbed, but his mother has no one else.
I know everything I need to know to pick the carriers.
Splendid. I'll be glad to get this damn business off my back. So how have you decided?
So, how do we do this? Do I just give you their names, or should I send for them?
Just tell me their names and whether they should carry water or something else. Don't worry, I'll send for them.
Cornelius.
Ah, Cornelius. I had him here once looking for a job. Where do you want to put him? I'd like to see him with buckets of shit.
To carry water.
So we have one person to carry water. Who's next?
Vincent, Moimir's son.
Vincent? Never heard of him. What do you think he should do?
To carry water.
So we have one person to carry water. Who's next?
Antonia.
What? A woman?
Yeah, is that a problem? You never said it had to be only men.
I didn't, but I kind of assumed it would be clear. It's a long walk with a heavy load, man's work.
She can handle the job, have no fear.
Let's hope so. You'll have to answer to me if she can't. Where do we put her then?
To carry water.
So we have one person to carry water. Who's next?
Vasil goes by the moniker of Pickman.
Pickman. I hope he doesn't have a history of pickpocketing.
No. They call him Pickman because he worked in the silver mines, and he was very keen with the pick. So much so, he managed to chop off 2 of his fingers.
Well, he can't do too much damage with a bucket, I suppose. Where do you want to put him?
Carrying shit.
Good. One person for this job. Next?
Tonda. They call him the winch.
The winch. Ought to be good with a bucket anyway. What's he going to do?
Otherwise, I might be very angry.
Or maybe someone else.
Jesus, I can see this ain't going to be easy.
Peter, better known as Rock.
Peter? Rock? Didn't he get into a fight and injure his arm? Well, what should he do?
Carrying shit. That's it.
Good. All decided. Now about the cook's job.
I chose a cook as well. Should I tell you or go to Hagen?
Tell me who you chose and I'll take care of it.
I chose old Agnes for the cook's job. I had a job convincing her, but it was worth it. She's the best cook around.
Glad to hear it. I'll have to drop in on Hagen for lunch sometime.
Well, you're a sight for sore eyes.